Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Scorpion Cigar Reviews. I'm here with my good friend Josh, and AMRUT, and didn't we discover it's Indian for Elixir of Life?
It is. Which I guess if you're gonna try mirror Scotch, it's not the name.
AMRUT.
It's about as close to Scotch as you can get without actually calling it that.
Right. The LAPHROIAG 10. And the ARDBEG. Now, clearly, all of these have already been opened and sampled. Some more than others. But none of these are a neck pour. So, when you first open a new bottle, you get what they call the neck pour. You get what's right out of it. It's vastly different from something that's 2/3 full or something you've had for several months. You know, it's time for the air to get in and kind of mellow things out.
Color difference.
Especially the black one.
Yeah. You can really see that one.
Alright, so we'll give these a few minutes to sit in the glass and open up, being 10 years. Huh. I didn't notice that before. Which still does not tell you the age of it.
It doesn't. Which,
Unless, because it will. So if that's when it was put in the casks, that would be your batch. Then it sits in there for so long.
you'd have to actually look and
Sample and
see
say, okay, I'm ready to bottle it.
what do they consider a batch.
Right. So maybe India's rules and laws and regulations and whatnot are different, where they say, no, your batch number is when you bottle. I don't know. I don't know that. I'm just giving that as a possible suggestion. I don't know what their laws are. But we know the other two are 10 years old because it says so right on the label. We do also know that the AMRUT is natural color and non-chill filter, because you read that.
Yep.
And it's right on the labeling. So.
It is also the one that we poured in the black Lancero.
Yeah, just coincidentally, it's. I also know that it's the lightest. Well, it's not necessarily the lightest color. It's hard to say because in the bottle it looks right. It's hard to tell in the LAPHROIAG and the ARDBEG because they're the green bottles and this is a clear bottle. But
I mean, yeah, comparing the three.
right, if you were to compare, and grant you have a greater volume, it almost looks like the ARDBEG may be lighter. The LAPHROIAG is pretty similar, maybe slightly darker.
Yeah. They're pretty close.
But I remember putting this into a glass, it looked quite a bit lighter. We may have to put the bottles away. The wind.
Told you, man, the wind gets crazy out here.
But we're smoking the Don Pepe and Garcia Blue Label
Very good.
in a Lancero.
I don't know that I've ever smoked this like size and style of cigar.
So, in the past I have, but years ago, and I was having issues with draw and burn and that kind of thing. So I kind of wrote them off. And then I thought I'd give it another shot, just from talking to other people and reading articles and different things like that, that it's not inherent that a Lancero would have draw problems. So I decided to go with a known manufacturer of a known specific blend that I enjoy and that I trust this particular company to make a good cigar. And that's what I had learned through my, not really research, just kind of asked. Didn't really even actively ask around. It's just in conversations, things would come up like, oh, well, you gotta, it's gotta be reputable, blah, blah, blah. If they can roll a good this, they can roll a good that, and they can roll a good Lancero. So I like the blue, Joaquin Garcia blue, and they have a Lancero offering. So I tried it, and I've tried a couple others, and so far I've been happy.
Yeah, these are cool.
So,
like I said, I've never had a Lancero. I'm trying to think what typically you have.
typically I do Toros, sometimes Robustos,
Yeah, I was going to say Robustos, I know.
occasionally Torpedoes. But yeah, that general size.
Which I'd say, if you're going to pick one to say that that's like the typical size cigar that people usually get, it'd be more the Toro, right?
Toro's a very popular size.
Well, I mean, you think about like TVs and movies, and most of the stuff that you see people smoking, they're normally about that size. Maybe
Right.
shorter or longer, depends on, but like that thickness, like that gauge.
Yeah, like in the movies, you don't often see somebody smoking like a Gordo or something.
But you
7
definitely
by
don't see
8 or
them
anything like
smoking a
those giant log
Lancero
things.
or
Yeah, or even a Lancero.
Yeah.
Sometimes a Cigarello.
yeah.
But even that's a little more rare. If you see somebody with something that's small, typically it's a cigarette. But every once in a while, yeah, you'll see somebody in a movie with a Cigarello. But it's usually going to be, sometimes even at Churchill, you'll see.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that.
But in general, you don't see the really large ring cigars, or even the nubs, or you wouldn't even know what it was because by the time they show smoking, it's down to a nub anyway. But yeah, typically, yeah, I've seen. I couldn't specifically name any movie or TV show.
Yeah, this is nice. I like these.
Yeah, they have good draw, good smoke output, good flavors. Which we spoke about it before. That's kind of key to having the good flavors. Is you've got to have a good draw and good smoke output. If you're straining to get a draw and to get the smoke through, then you're not getting the flavors.
Right.
And the flavors you are getting, you're going to get the downside of the flavor. It's been a good 10 minutes. And we also discussed, you read the back of the packaging on the AMRUT. I didn't have my glasses on. I do have them in my bag, but not enough light for me to see my glasses now. But the AMRUT, the malted barley is sourced from, is it 2,500 miles away or something like that? That sounds familiar.
Yes.
Although it doesn't say where.
It does.
Does it say specifically where it comes from? Other than 2,500 miles away?
Yes, it comes from Bangalore.
Bangalore, that's right, you did say that. So the malted barley comes from Bangalore.
Yep, the garden city. So it does.
So it still comes from India.
Yep.
And then it says aged in oak.
It just says oak. Doesn't
But
say
it
what
doesn't-
kind of oak.
It doesn't mention the char.
Nope.
Doesn't say where the oak was sourced from. So
At least
unlike,
not on the container. I'm sure they have the information somewhere, but at least on that container it does not say where the oak
so
comes from.
bourbon has to be in American oak. Scotch has to be in new charred American oak. New charred American oak. At least initially, and then they can finish it in sherry cask or whatever. But the initial aging must take place in new American oak. But the AMRUT did not specify, and once again goes back to we don't know what India's laws are. There's no age statement, although they do have a batch number and date. If you went by that, and when I bought it, then this stuff's about a week old.
Yeah, ain't no
So
way.
so no way.
You can tell by tasting it. There's no
Right.
way that that's the case.
Oh, and even smelling it, it's you can pick up a little bit of wood note.
Yep.
And subtle hints of peat. And like I said, there's more than one variation of the AMRUT, and they must not have had that variation. But yeah, actually, I'm enjoying this a lot more tonight than I did last night.
I am too, actually. And granted, so even last night we started with the AMRUT.
Do we know what the alcohol percentage is?
46, I believe.
46. I'm gonna take your word at it.
Pretty confident. I'll double check. Pretty sure I just looked at it.
You see that in the dark?
Yep, 46% alcohol. So, pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean it's 92 proof, 46%. And honestly, for a Scotch-esque, yes, a Scotch-like, it should be in that range or
Yep.
higher. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have these 50% and 69% and that kind of thing.
That's
Yeah,
gonna have a
and
crazy.
and I've done a lot of that.
It's gonna either have. I mean, it's kind of one of two things. It's either gonna have a crazy flavor profile, or it's been aged so long that it's smooth as butter.
Right.
Which you got something that good. God bless you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still that wood note. It's not as dominant
Yep.
to me tonight as it was last night.
Well, I know last night we were trying to figure out what kind of wood.
Right, because I was like, oh, there's no way this is charred American oak. And then, but it says on the label, it just says oak.
Oak. That's the
But I
only
mean,
thing it says on there.
There's more than one species of oak. Like we talked about last night, you got white oak, red oak, and then you've got American oak, and then you've got other countries that have their oak.
And then you also have, did they char it? Did they not char it? Did they do something else with it?
Right. So as far as that goes, I'm pretty confident if it is, it's extremely lightly toasted, and I'm really not picking that up. I'm thinking it was just a clear oak with no charring at all, no toasting.
Yeah, I'd be curious to do some more research to see how they actually
Jealous?
how they actually make.
He doesn't like it when other animals
Yes.
come near me. Come here. Come here.
Because we talked about it before, it can't be Scotch because it's not made in Scotland.
Right.
It doesn't follow.
Can't be. Yeah.
But it's definitely that style. But I'm wondering what is actually different that makes it taste the way that it does. It's definitely different.
So there's the heat, the climate.
The barley, which they mentioned on the actual.
Right. So their barley comes from India,
Yeah.
and the whole process is done in India, based on what we figured from what it says on the label. And
So, and this is probably just my ignorance, but so when it comes to Scotch, when they actually go to make it, do they use a very specific method to,
I wanted to stagger the dogs.
when they actually make it? So like the actual containers where they make and like basically filter the alcohol into like the big.
okay, so
Containers.
when they're
Really good at that when he gets
forget what it's called.
Right, distilling.
Yes, when they actually
So
distill
there's
it
different,
into.
there's different types of stills. You've got pot stills, which are typically Irish, but there's also Scotland uses
Yeah, so when it comes
pot stills.
to Scotch, is that a requirement, or do they they can do whatever they want?
No, I don't believe the type of still is a requirement to my knowledge.
Okay.
But so like you've got the pot stills, you've got
Right.
column stills,
I know there's a lot.
you've got Nika coffee
Yeah,
still.
because those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I haven't
Nika
had
coffee,
Nika in a
that's
while.
so different video altogether.
Yeah. But yeah, I wasn't sure. Like I said, that's just my ignorance when it comes.
And then
to
there's
it's kind of like.
right on to the ARDBEG.
Oh yeah. Oh yes, that's so good. I love ARDBEG.
Me too.
I'm biased. I'll admit it. God, it has that nice, almost like campfire smell.
Yeah, the peat.
Never had
There it is.
a cat
That's so
around me.
good.
It's like if you roll it too much, it's like you lose it. You gotta let it settle back in,
I imagine
and then all of a sudden you get the whiff.
Pete's a puppy.
I mean, it's peat. It's a love or hate.
Oh yeah.
There's no like, oh yeah, it's okay. I'll do a little here, a little there. No, either you love the peat or you
Yeah,
don't.
I kind of say the same thing when it comes to IPAs. You either love it or you hate it.
Exactly. Now, as good as it smells, it's that first sip,
Oh man,
the potency.
it's so different.
Yeah, different. It's similar, but different. It's ramped way up. It's not like I'm picking up a different flavor than the scent. Like, oh, I didn't expect that. I did, but maybe not that up front in your face, that forward, that strong, that pronounced. And
Well,
it's
it's
very
kinda-
well balanced.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing about it is it just. And we'll talk more after we taste it all. Why I like this so much. But yeah, crazy balance. You get a little bit of everything with this one.
Right. And we'll touch on that after the LAPHROIG.
We'll see, because I'm interested now that we've had this one second as opposed to the LaPhroaig.
Oh, true. We swapped
Oh,
the
alright.
ARDBEG and LAPHROIG.
I want to know how I feel about it having done this second.
Right.
Because we did it opposite last time, and
Right.
we'll get into why we feel like that might have
Try
been.
not to throw that over there.
That might have influenced things, but we'll see.
Go that far.
We'll see. Could be totally wrong. We may sip the LaPhroaig and be like, nope, still feel the same way.
Right, exactly. You never know. Yeah, this is just, ARDBEG has always been one of my favorites.
Love it. Ever since you had me drink it forever ago. I don't know if it was this particular ARDBEG that we drank, but the first time I ever had it,
Yeah, I don't remember if it was this one or it was the Ugadal or one of the other ARDBEGs. I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
I just remember it was the first time I ever had a super peated Scotch. It was the first one I ever had, and I loved it.
Yeah,
And
as
for all
far
the
as-
reasons that you love a peated Scotch, because
Right.
you get that really delicious char flavor mixed with all of the oak and everything else that's in it. Like, ah, gosh, it's so good.
Yeah, you can still pick up the wood note.
Yep.
You can tell it's a toasted oak.
He's realizing, like, yeah,
It's
It's everything. Like
It's
you
everything.
can taste everything about it.
and this is why I'm saying that the AMRUT, to me, the oak tastes not green, but
Right.
uncharred, pretty fresh. Not, they didn't let the wood sit out and age for a season before they, started making the staves and whatnot, or at least not the same degree. Now, that being said, Scotland versus India, the climate.
Oh yeah, vastly different.
Yeah, temperature differences, rain differences, vegetation, what grows or what doesn't.
They have a monsoon season.
Right.
Rain
And-
gets crazy there.
Right. And, you know, Scotland, it's cooler. I don't know necessarily typically drier. I mean, I don't know what their average rainfall is, but
Yeah, but you're talking about, you know,
Cold
a
winters.
large island versus a,
continent,
yeah,
He only lets them do it for a little bit.
big,
or not continent, but, you know.
a huge country in the middle that's landlocked, basically.
Yeah.
Like, they're not getting all of that sea air in any way, shape, or form.
You know, the storm. You should look over there.
Yeah,
It's just lighting up.
yeah, and then this is what I'm talking about.
Because when you burn paper, it's so much different from the rest of the leaves. However, there's something similar to burning paper that's in peat. You know what I'm saying? That there's- I mean, it's not the same, but there's a similar characteristic. Woo, do you see that lightning strike? I was looking right at it. Man, about blinded me.
I saw all the light, though.
I just happened to be looking over there and down it came like, oh,
That thunder's pretty far away.
oh yeah,
We're
yeah.
good. Well, I'm not feeling anything.
Yeah,
over
it's
here.
just it's very spotty.
Yeah.
It's like somebody takes a bucket. I'm gonna throw a bucket over here, and I'm gonna throw a bucket over there.
Well,
Should we try wrapping this up? Because here comes the rain again. So, anyway, there you have it. Thanks for once again watching Scorpion Cigar Reviews. We will catch you next time.
we're gonna get wet.